So we are going to start with Hafiz Ismail, one of our team member, doing a quick recitation, and then inshallah ta'ala we'll have a quick introduction, and then Mufti Ahmad will start with his Hajj Fiqh webinar, inshallah. Hafiz Ismail.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي جعل في السماء بروجا وجعل فيها سراجا وقمرا منيرا وهو الذي جعل الليل والنهار خلفة لمن أراد أن يذكر أو أراد شكورا وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Hafiz Ismail. MashaAllah, that was a good recitation. So quickly, are you all able to see that screen? So we are going to quickly get started. As I have been repeating several times in all our Hajj webinar, start this talbiyah, start this labbaik Allahumma labbaik, start getting into the frame of mind that says that, we are ready for the Hajj, we are ready for the Hajj. So very quickly, so this is our Hajj preparation planner. We are about in this stage. We are in the first week of May. We have, hopefully people have been doing their physical preparation, walking, practicing every day the walk that you probably will have to go through, especially if you are in the Al-Mu'assim camp. Spiritual preparation, very, very important. Today is one part of it, but one of the major spiritual preparation that I have been repeating in every Hajj webinar: patience. Just expect everything to be a challenge. Just expect everything to be a challenge. In spite of all the preparation that Rawaf Mina is doing, Ministry of Hajj is doing, we as your guides are doing, things could be challenging. But being patient through all those steps is very, very important, inshallah. Hopefully, you have started booking the connecting flight. I understand many of you have not received the e-ticket, but you should start booking your connecting flight if there is any connection required. And as I have mentioned earlier, allow yourself at least enough time to readjust in case if your connecting flights are delayed or cancel. So always keep some time room there, inshallah. Uh, we are going to start connecting with the guide. I know there are some challenges that Nusuk is having, but inshallah they will resolve that one. Visa and ticket, you will start. Many people have already received the visa. I do realize that there are some challenges with the visa and the e-ticket also. Webinar on logistics, we have done one, but we will do more additional, inshallah ta'ala. We have shared the supplies list and luggage. Start preparing on that one. Today is the first session on the Fiqh webinar by Mufti Ahmad, and Mufti Muhammad also has been on some of the chat sessions on the Fiqh, inshallah. We will also conduct the webinar for sisters. The sisters, mashallah, from what I understand, have been very actively having discussions with the Maulima. That there is a panel of 3 Maulimas that has been working with the sisters on the questions, and mashallah, very actively answering the question. You should have by now started the vaccination. Meningitis is a required vaccination. Meningitis is the only one that is required at this point. And then we'll start preparing for the travel with the will inheritance and all the other arrangements, inshallah. We have shared a template for that one. So vaccination, as I mentioned earlier, the meningitis is a required vaccination. So this is the only required vaccination for people from the Western world, from the United States, from Europe, I believe even from Australia. Meningitis is the only one. Yes, they do recommend polio, they do recommend flu shots, but they are not required. So meningitis is the only one that's required. This is at least as per the health guidelines that is in the nusuk. I know people have been seeing some additional vaccinations, polio and all that from on the Ministry of Hajj, but I believe it's a general directive for the other countries such as some of the African countries, some of the Asian countries. The polio and other vaccination is required. But if you look at the details in even there, they will very clearly specify that it is not specific, it's not required for the United States, for the North America, Europe, and other countries. Visa rejection. I know this has been causing lots of anxiety. Please be patient with this one. Nusuk is working through it. Visa issues cannot be resolved by Rawaf or other service providers. They have been escalating this to Ministry of Hajj. I know Rawaf Mina leadership, for example, we are in active discussion with them. They have been raising this to Ministry of Hajj, but this has to be resolved by Nusuk and Ministry of Hajj. The service providers cannot issue visa. Please understand this one. I know there is some frustration. I know there are some challenges. I know visa rejection emails have gone out, and the Nusuk is saying visa is rejected. But in my opinion, and again, this is not coming from Nusuk or anyone else, I believe this is just a process issue. This is just an issue that Nusuk is having. This will, inshallah, will definitely get resolved. You will, inshallah, definitely have the visa. Do not worry about it. But do continue to send email to support hajnusuk.sa so that they understand that there is certain level of anxiety among the Hujjaj. But I would suggest do not be way too anxious, inshallah. You have enough time. They will resolve this one. It has to be resolved, inshallah. Flight changes. Flight changes, whether it is by the custom flight or the group flight, it's a challenge. You have to understand that, because as it gets closer to the dates closer to the Hajj, the flight dates closer to Hajj, the it is difficult because most of the Hajj flights are sold out. Most of the Hajj flights are sold out. Making any adjustments is very difficult. You can contact the airlines, but preferably wait until you have the e-ticket, so that when you talk to them, you can provide the PNR number, etc. But at least wait for a little bit so that they get all the information from the service providers. Guide assignments. Service Nusuk is having some challenges enabling the functionality to assign the guides to Hujjaj. This is a requirement from Nusuk. Even though we have provided the list to the service provider, but rest assured, inshallah ta'ala, if you have signed up with us, you will be with us, inshallah ta'ala. Do not worry about it, inshallah ta'ala. We have started putting guides and Hujjaj together. We have started creating some groups, but you will receive a invitation if you are with Rawaf Mina and if you have signed up with us. You will receive an invitation through Nusuk. But if you do receive, you will find one of these people assigned to you. Do not worry about it. Just go ahead and accept the invitation, as long as it's one of these six people. Later on, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to adjust based on the hotel that you are assigned to, that you have selected, and inshallah ta'ala, we will take care of it. And I will be going around at each one of these hotels. Both brother Samir and I will be available. So just rest assured, we are going forward with all our arrangements, with everything. So inshallah ta'ala, everything will be fine, inshallah. So supplies list, we have shared the supplies list. Start preparing for it. There is the QR code is also shared here. You can scan this one. You will get the same list that we have shared. Now, sharing request, we have provided that to Rawaf, and inshallah ta'ala, as soon as Rawaf approves it, we will make the necessary room assignments. We, as your guide team, we are going to take care of this, inshallah. Occupancy request, if available, Rawaf will directly contact the Hujjaj, because there is a certain amount that you'll have to pay, etc. So this Mufti Ahmad will go through this one, and all the questions, please hold until the end. Wasim will go through them, inshallah ta'ala. Mufti Ahmad, you want to take over the presentation?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد الله تعالى ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. There's a lot that we need to cover, but I'm going to try to simplify this as much as I can. In this presentation, there's virtues, there's other logistical information. As for the logistics, you stick that with Brother Farid because he has a good hold of that. And of course, this presentation is not meant for that. This presentation, we're going to strictly stick to the technical aspects of the fiqh of Hajj and how it needs to be done. If there are any questions that you still have after this, then by all means, you can go ahead and ask, inshallah, after, and we will get to it. With that being said, so the best thing you can do while we're doing this is listen attentively, take notes. This presentation will be shared with you and go over the virtues of Hajj because it will create a spirit for this very auspicious journey that for a lot of people it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, especially for those nowadays that are going from America. We don't know when we will have another opportunity to do so, so please do take full advantage of what you are about to go to. Remember that the virtues, again, I'm going to skip the virtue. Just remember that Hajj is a fundamental of Islam. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So it's, of course, very, very important and a very important journey to go on. This is a journey in which before you begin this journey, have intention, turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do as much as you can in terms of preparing for any travel, especially a travel that requires a lot of challenges and difficulties. Some of these things we have control over, some of these things we do not have control over. Whatever we do have control over, we try to make sure that we do whatever we can. Before we leave home, try to perform 2 rakat of nafil prayer. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah allows this journey to be successful and accepted, and leave your family and belongings in the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as we are making this journey, make sure we are joyful rather than having any grief. Again, this is again another aspect of what Brother Farid will be covering or has already covered and shared within the group, so you can refer to that. Now let's go on to the Hajj. When it comes to the matters of Hajj, there are 3 different types of Hajj. Which one you will do or you want to do is completely up to you. I know one of the questions someone asked was which one should we do as a group. That is completely up to you on what you want to do. The one that is ifrad really is not concerning to any of us because we are not residents of Mecca. Ifrad is only for the one that is a resident of Mecca, that when they are going to go perform Hajj, they are just going to put the Ihram on once. For everyone that is on this chat is more than likely no one from Saudi Arabia. That means we have 2 options. Number 1 is Tamattu', the other one is Qiran. Qiran is more difficult and it is also more rewarding. Which one you choose to do is completely up to you. The difference between the 2 is in Tamattu', we are going to land in Mecca, Medina, wherever. Whenever we get to Mecca, when we get to Mecca, we will perform our Umrah. After we have performed our Umrah, we will get out of the state of Ihram. In Qiran, Qiran means to join. What we are doing is, when we get to Mecca, the Ihram we are in, after we have performed our Umrah, we will not get out of the state of Ihram, and we will continue on being in the state of Ihram until the end of Hajj. Now, anyone and everyone is welcome to do what they want to do. But let me just give you a heads up. The days of Hajj begin on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. On the 8th. So if you land in Mecca, if you come to Mecca on the 4th of Dhul Hijjah, for example, you're adding 4 days to be in the state of Ihram. Might not be practical for everyone, majority of the people to do this. Rather, it might be better and easier for them to do tamattu'. Now, if a person is landing in or coming into Mecca on the 7th of Dhul Hijjah, which is a day before, then it might be a little easier for them to do Qiran, but there's no problem if they decide to do tamattu'. For the people that are landing in Mecca, coming to Mecca on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, you have full reason to do Qiran, but of course if you choose not to, that's completely up to you. We will focus on Hajj Tamattu', which is the one that we are going to come into Mecca, perform our Umrah, get out of the state of Ihram, and then make another Ihram when we are going for Hajj. Now, Ihram, when, what is it, and how do we do it? When we come into Ihram, there are three possibilities, right? Some of us might be going to, I don't know how this group is arranged. Brother Farid, you may correct me at any moment if something is specific with this group or however. But if we are going to Medina first, no one needs any Ihram when we are going to Medina. The other option is going to Mecca. Direct flight, wear ihram from home, but do not make intention yet. Majority of us don't have a direct flight. Majority of us are going to have a layover somewhere, right? Wherever that somewhere is, we can either, whenever we get there, I'll give you the most common example is most people when they go to from Turkey. They can either in Istanbul airport put the ihram on, but do not make intention just yet, because the place or the boundary, what we call as miqat. The miqat is that position in the boundary where you cannot cross until and unless you are in the state of ihram. If you do, then you are going to have a penalty, right? So that can
Mufti Ahmad,
intention.
Mufti Ahmed, if I may
Yes.
just add quickly for you, there are people in this session who are going to Medina, as well as who will have Makkah as a destination first.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
there are also some people that will have a connecting flight, as you mentioned, in Istanbul, as well as a connecting flight even in Riyadh, for that matter. Okay, so you may just quickly want to speak to that part. Basically, I think
Yes.
you may add to that.
Absolutely. There's a diagram that's going to show to this point, so I'm not going to say it yet, but when the diagram comes, I'll explain it there, inshallah. So this is going to Mecca, and then the other one here, this is the diagram I was referring to. So everyone look at the top. For those that are going to Medina first, you're looking at Al-Medina, right? At the top of the graph. As you are going from Medina, you are going to stop at a masjid called Masjid Dhul Hulayfa. It's literally 10 to 15-minute drive as you are making your way to Dhul Hulayfa. If you're going by the train, then you're going to have to put ihram on before you get on the train at the train station. But that is when you come to Dhul Hulayfa, that is where you are going to pray your 2 rak'at salah, and that is where you are going to make niyyah of being in the state of ihram. And how that is done, I'll explain after next. For those people that are going to Jeddah, landing into Jeddah, you are going to wherever that connecting flight is. You can put the ihram on in the plane, or you can put it on in places like Riyadh or Istanbul, where before you get to Jeddah, you already have the ihram on. As you are going in the plane, they generally do announce that it is the time for miqat, and it is at that point where you actually make the intention. You already have the two pieces of cloth on. For women, they will have their normal clothes on, and that is the moment where you make intention and you say labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. At the end of this statement, you are officially in the state of ihram. So this is the whole boundary outside of Mecca, that anyone who is coming outside of this boundary must be in the state of Ihram. Now, what is Ihram? Ihram is not limited to wearing two pieces of clothing, right? Ihram is a condition the person comes into after intention, again making intention, and talbiyah. Talbiyah is labbaik Allahumma labbaik. What happens now is ihram comes from the word haram, which means that we are making certain things haram upon us that weren't haram before. Hence, if someone wants to change the cloth of ihram, clothes for women, after donning it, it is permissible. This is again one of the questions someone asked, that can they change the two pieces of cloth? Can they take a body shower? Yes, they can take a body shower, and yes, they can change those two pieces of cloth if they feel the need to. But of course, there are conditions to the shower, which I will cover. Now, things to do from home: bathe before leaving the house, including clipping nails and removing any unwanted hair. Wear two cloths of ihram. Again, if you're leaving from, this is just an example, New York, Washington, Atlanta, you're not going to wear two pieces of cloth from this moment onwards. You're going to do it from your connecting wherever the flight is before you reach Jeddah or yeah. After bathing, but before the niyyah, it is mustahab to wear itar on the body and ihram, which means that this, remember, the two pieces of cloth that we are wearing, we can rub itar and perfume on it before we make the intention. Because before we make the intention, we are not in the state of ihram. Once we make the intention and we have said labbaik, now we cannot apply any perfume or itar. If it's already on, then there's nothing wrong with that. This is an example of how the ihram should generally look like. Whenever we are in the state of ihram, notice that the shoulders are covered. I know it's going to get hot, but this is the method of how the ihram needs to be worn. And if you look at the slippers, I'm just giving you an example. Someone asked what type of slippers, what are the conditions? This is how the slippers need to be. So anything that looks similar to this is what is going to be acceptable in the state of ihram. Now, pray 2 rakat sunnah salah. When this is how you, when you are trying to get into the state of ihram, you're going to pray 2 rakat. In the first rakat, you are to recite Surah Kafirun. Second rakat, you are to recite Surah Ikhlas. These are the sunnah surahs that a person should recite. Pray salah with head covered. Remember, we are not in the state of ihram yet, so you can cover your head. Remove head covering and make niyyah for umrah. The moment we have performed salah, we will take our head covering off, and that is when we will make intention. And from that point onwards, we cannot cover our head. Recite talbiyah loudly 3 times for males. Once is a condition, meaning if you do it once, you fulfilled it. Thrice is sunnah. Send salutations on the Prophet ﷺ and make dua. Do not make intention and recite talbiyah if wearing ihram from home. If someone feels that they want to wear the two clothings from Atlanta, for example, go for it. But you are going to make it extremely difficult upon yourself going through this journey. So don't do this. In fact, I wouldn't even say wear the two cloths from here. Wait until you get to your next destination at least. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. This is the talbiyah that a person, whenever I say talbiyah, this is what we are referring to. This is the most virtuous dhikr of Hajj. So this is, again, as Brother Fareed mentioned, get in the habit and framework of being in the state of Hajj. So this is very important for a person to constantly be doing. Now, what are the things that become haram upon a person in the state of ihram? Number 1, wearing perfume. Number 2, using perfumed items, soap, toothpaste, and wipes. Someone asked if they can use mint. They cannot use mint in the state of ihram. Clipping nails or removing hair, not allowed. Covering the head for men. Wearing any sewn clothing, undergarments for men. Let me be very clear. For men in the state of ihram, they are only wearing 2 pieces of cloth. Those 2 being the upper garment and the lower garment, nothing else. Killing lice or insect is not allowed. Intimate talk or actions between the husband and wife, marital relations, are impermissible at this point in time. What are some permissible things? And this is something that a lot of people have questions about, so please pay attention to this. Wearing rings, glasses, hearing aids, money belts, the pouches, completely okay. Changing ihram clothing, the 2 pieces of cloth for women changing clothes, no problem. Taking a bath, shower without rubbing rigorously. Why does this rubbing rigorously matter? Because in the state of ihram, we are not allowed to take out any hair, pluck any hair, or anything like that. If we're rubbing our head, there are chances hair is going to come off, and that is going to make a penalty upon us. So don't do that. Again, even when we are showering, no use of scented shampoo or body wash. Again, scented is the key word. Same thing with soap, not scented. Covering oneself when resting, avoiding the face and head. Do not cover the face and head when you're laying at night in Mina or Muzdalifah. That is still not allowed. Odorless Vaseline is completely okay. Notice odorless. Using miswak but not toothpaste. If you use toothpaste that is flavorless, not flavorless, but scentless, that would be okay. Now, during the journey, of course, these are certain things that bring us back into the mindset and framework of Hajj. Continue with dhikr, stay away from any and all sins, and be prompt for your salah even while we are traveling. Make sure that our salahs are on time and we are fulfilling the sunnahs. Now, arriving at Jeddah. Again, some people are going to arrive in Medina, some people are arriving at Jeddah. Let's assume we are arriving at Jeddah. When we are arriving at Jeddah, getting through the customs and all that, it will take a while. As Brother Farid said, be patient. Things do go wrong. You have to understand there are 3 million people that are coming for Hajj. It is going to be somewhere, some way, we are going to face challenges, but just continue to make istighfar, make adhkar, make use of your time, because that's really all you can do. You won't have any option to do anything else. At the hotel, when you come to Mecca or you come from Medina, you'll be taken to your hotels, settle down, eat, take a rest if needed. When you feel physically and mentally prepared, then only go to Umrah. Remember that you are going to be tired, very tired. This journey is very tiring. At the same time, you want to make sure you are balancing your health. So with the moment you get to Mecca, for majority of people, it is not the best time for them to go and perform Umrah right away. I understand some people become uncomfortable with the Ihram, which is completely okay. But trust me when I say this, take rest while you can and don't go overburden yourself because you still have Hajj to do. This is just getting to Mecca. When we get to Mecca, we have to perform Umrah. After Umrah, Hajj will begin. So we want to preserve any and all energy that we can. First sight of the Kaaba, when we first see the Kaaba, of course, it is a very auspicious and great moment. Well, the moment you see it, recite Bismillah, Salawat, and Dua. Don't just stand in the way and make Dua. Please get to the side and then make Dua so you are not causing any inconvenience to the individuals that are around you. And of course, it is an accepted time of du'as. Now, when we are talking about, remember, just so everyone is clear, the moment any one of us enters into Mecca, whether we are coming from Atlanta to Mecca or Istanbul to Mecca, Riyadh to Mecca, Medina to Mecca, all of us must perform Umrah. We are all in the state of Ihram and we need to perform Umrah. Whether we are doing tamattu', qiran, it does not matter. All of us need to perform Umrah. What are the components of Umrah? Number one, there are only four things. Only four things that are required in Umrah. Number one, Ihram. We are all in the state of Ihram at this point in time. Number two, Tawaf. This is when we need to decide when we are going to perform Tawaf. Whenever it is, after we are rested. This is the fard, an obligation. Number three is Sa'i. Number four is Halaq. If you don't know what Sa'i is, don't worry, I got it. These are the only four things that are required when we are doing Umrah. It's only four, but sometimes it can take 4 to 5 hours depending on the rush, depending on the crowd, depending on when we want to even do it. So all of these things are there, but do it at your convenience. Just quickly going over it, Tawaf is 7 circuits. Anytime we say you have to do Tawaf, we are referring to the 7 circuits that you need to do. It starts from the green light. In the Mataf, in the area of the Haram in Mecca, there is a green light that indicates that that is the beginning. It indicates that's where Hajj Aswad is, the black stone. That is the starting point for the for the Tawaf. Don't start wherever you feel like it. That is where the starting point is, and that is where you start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 circuits equal 1 tawaf. After we've done tawaf, we will perform 2 rak'ats nafil prayer, and then we will go for sa'i. What is sa'i? Sa'i is running through Safa and Marwa. We will begin at Mount Safa. There are signs all over that will tell you exactly where Safa is. You will go to Safa. You will start from Safa 1, and then you will go to Marwa. That one running is considered 1. Then from Marwa back to Safa is 2. Then again from Safa back to Marwa is 3. And like this, you will begin 1 at Safa, and the 7th one will end at Marwa. After you've done this, you will halaq, either you will shave your head or you will cut your head, trim your hair. Either or is completely acceptable. Of course, shaving the head is more beloved and virtuous. Now, commencing the tawaf for Umrah, remember that you must have wudu when you are performing tawaf. If when you are performing tawaf, you break your wudu and you have done less than 3 circuits, you are now going to have to start all over again. If you have broken your wudu after 4 circuits, then you will go make wudu and continue from where you left off. Look at this graph right here. This is a good illustration on how or where you start. So if you can see right at the corner that is directly in front of us, that is the black stone, Hajar Aswad. That is where the green light exactly opposite of it will be, and it will show you that that is where you need to start your tawaf from, and that's where you will start. About that. Initiating tawaf. When we start tawaf, we look towards the Hajar Aswad. We say Bismillahi Allahu Akbar and go like this to our face, and then we begin. Now we are going to start our tawaf. Istilam. This is exactly what I just said. We are going to go like this in front of the Hajar Aswad, facing the Hajar Aswad, because we will more than likely not be given a chance to be right in front of Hajar Aswad. So we'll just face Hajar Aswad and done, and then we start our. After every time we finish 1 circuit, we will look at Hajar Aswad, and you will notice everyone will be doing this. You look at Hajar Aswad, do this, kiss your hands, and cover your face, and that is Sunnah Mu'akkada, emphasized Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Here is the green light, and there's the Hajar Aswad showing where the Tawaf will begin from. The green light actually goes all the way to the top, so it will be a very easy way for you to understand. With that being said, now you will do Ramal. This is for men. Men will do Ramal. What is Ramal? This only happened in the first 3 circuits. Ramal is walking hastily, taking short steps, pushing the chest outwards, and moving the shoulders. The purpose of this in the time of the Prophet ﷺ was that when the Muslims came, the Quraysh were watching the Muslims. And the Prophet ﷺ wanted to show the Quraysh that the Muslims are strong men. And because of this, the Prophet ﷺ encouraged the Sahaba to do this. Women will walk normally. No ramal needs to be done in the remaining 4. So it's only done in the first 3. Note, if one forgot to do ramal in the first 3 rounds, then do not do ramal in the other rounds, as ramal is only sunnah in the first 3 rounds. If you miss it, you miss it. Whilst performing tawaf, of course, there are many du'as that you can do. And of course, that is completely up to a person on exactly how much du'a that you want to do. Between Rukn al-Yamani and Hajar Aswad at the bottom, the Sunnah du'a is رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. This is the corner right before the green light. So right when you get there, tell the green light, it is Sunnah to recite رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And of course, any of the du'as you want to make before then, it's completely fine. Now, important masail regarding tawaf. Do not talk about worldly affairs. Do not gaze at the Kaaba. To turn the face and chest towards Baytullah during tawaf is permissible only while performing istilam, which is this, towards Hajar Aswad. Read in a low voice. It is impermissible to read very loud or collectively in groups, as this causes inconvenience to others. It really does cause inconvenience for those that have visited. Sometimes it can work in their favor. Sometimes when you want to just be engaged in your own ibadah, it does cause a lot of inconvenience. For the tawaf, followed by sa'i, one will do ittiba' as well as ramal. Which means, in umrah, what did I say that is the important aspects of umrah? The ihram, the tawaf, after the tawaf, sa'i, the running between Safa and Marwa. So any times we are doing tawaf, followed by a sa'i, followed by going to Safa and Marwa, we will do ittiba'. What is ittiba'? For men, it is only done, obviously, because they are the ones wearing the 2 cloths. They will uncover their right shoulder and bring it over and cover their left shoulder, and thought there was a picture here, but that's how it is. They're just going to expose their right shoulder, and they are going to leave their left shoulder covered. Do not touch Hajj Aswad and Rukn Yamani in the state of Ihram. I know everyone wants to touch the Hajj Aswad, but Hajj Aswad is usually every salah is cleansed and then covered with itar. You cannot apply itar in the state of Ihram. If Jama'ah Salah commences while doing Tawaf, stop and join the Salah, then commence from where you left off. Wudu is compulsory for Tawaf, and we already said this. Do not kiss or make istilam of Maqam Ibrahim. It is not advisable to go for Tawaf, etc. in large groups, as keeping up may affect focus, but of course it's completely up to the group if they want to do so. After the tawaf is over, cover the shoulders. Again, as I said, covering the shoulders until and unless it is in the state of ittiba should be done. Perform 2 rak'ah wajib tawaf behind Maqam Ibrahim. You are not, let me give you a heads up, you are not going to be able to perform behind Maqam Ibrahim. You're more than likely going to get trampled if you try to do so. So just go into any other area that is not crowded and perform your 2 rak'ahs there, and it is completely fine. Ensure that it is not a makruh time. Make dua. Now make dua at multazam or in front of it if possible. More than likely it will be very difficult for you to do this as well, so just make dua anywhere. Drink zamzam to your fill and make dua. Once you have done this, now you can go ahead to Hajj Asad. This is multazam. The door area, the side the door is on, is called the multazam. From this corner to the door is what the multazam is referred to. As I said, you are not going to have a chance to do this more than likely, so just make dua anywhere. Now, are we all clear? Everyone, thumbs up, please.
Yeah, Mufti Sahib, if you can talk about what happens if you get pushed and you end up with your chest towards the Kaaba during
As long
Tawaf.
as as long as it's not done for a prolonged time, it's not a big deal. You are going to be pushed around. That's just something that's going to happen that we really can't do anything about. But as long as you turn back to it within the time, it's fine, inshallah. Right. I know this is a lot, and that's why like after this, everyone just look over the presentation, and I'm going to break it down. This is just like the technical aspects within the technical aspects. So it gets a bit much, but as long as alhamdulillah everyone is clear, inshallah we'll continue. So now we have performed tawaf. Again, uh, we performed tawaf, the 7 circuits. After we have done within the 7 circuits, remember there were so many other components: the ittiba, istilam, the ramal, the 2 rakat salah after. So all of those things were within it. Now, after we have confirmed and completed the tawaf, we are now going to Safa and Marwa to make the sa'i. When we are going to Safa and Marwa to make the sa'i, Sa'i literally means to run or haste. A lot of people, when they're supposed to be walking fast, they're actually running. The word sa'i actually initiates and means that you're walking fast to the point where you're almost running, but you're not necessarily running. So that is the speed we should take when we are doing sa'i between Safa and Marwa. There are green lights indicating exactly where a person needs to be doing it, needs to be walking fast slash running. Besides that, they should be walking at a normal pace. Stand facing the Qibla, raise your hands, and make dua. You are going to go to Safa first. That is, you won't have an option to go to Marwa. So this is by default. You are going to go to Safa. After you get to Safa, you face the Kaaba. You make dua with your hands raised, short dua, and then you continue on and go towards Marwa. Recite Takbir and Tahleel. Takbir is Allahu Akbar, and Tahleel is La ilaha illallah. Salawat, the fourth kalima, then commence the sa'i. Do the same when you get to Marwa. When you get to the other mountain, you are going to do the same exact thing. And Rabbi Ghfir Warham, Anta al-A'izz al-Akram is a sunnah dua that you should recite while you are walking towards Safa and Marwa. Here is a good thing to look at. There are wheelchair assistance available for those that need wheelchairs. Then the fast walking area is covered with green lights. You are not going to miss it, so don't worry about that. A lot of this stuff, you just need to remember the details of it. Majority of it, everyone will be doing, and you should be good to go, inshallah. Men are required to run with a slow pace, and women will walk at a normal pace. Here is an illustration of the green lights. As I said, it's going to be very visible and clear, so you are not going to miss it. Important points regarding sa'i: it is better to do sa'i on the ground floor and permissible on the top floors. This is not something you will generally have a decision to make. They will tell you where you need to go because depending on the crowd and everything like that, so don't worry. Wudu is preferable for sa'i but not necessary. It is not necessary to climb right up Safa, climb to a height where you can see the Kaaba. Sometimes you might not even be able to see the Kaaba based on construction and what is going on, so it is okay. Dam will become wajib by doing sa'i on a wheelchair without excuse. If Allah has given you the health and ability to walk, then you must walk. Now, after we have done the sa'i, remember I said there are 4 components to Umrah. Number 1 is Ihram. Number 2 is the Tawaf. Number 3 is sa'i, which is running between Safa and Marwa. Now we are on the 4th and final step of our Umrah. It's either halaq, which is shaving your head, or qasar, trimming the entire head. Again, whichever you choose to do is completely okay. Some people prefer and have asked, can they just trim their hair for Umrah and then cut it completely, do shaving after Hajj? Completely fine. Inshallah, you will be rewarded for that. After you have done this, then you are now going to be out of the state of Ihram. Read this note because this is another question someone asked. It is permissible to shave your own or someone else's hair after all the rituals have been completed. Although in this last point, for the men to cut their own hair, there is a difference. It's best that you have someone else cut your hair, or you cut someone else's hair, but having yourself cut your own hair is quite problematic. Whereas women, they can cut their own hair. How much will they cut? They will just wrap a little bit around their finger, and that is the amount that they will cut. Now, whether you got to Mecca on the 4th of Dhul Hijjah, the 5th of Dhul Hijjah, the 6th of Dhul Hijjah, the 7th, it does not matter. Everyone has to perform Umrah. Now, after we have performed Umrah, we are all out of the state of Ihram. Remember, we are doing Tamattu'. What is Tamattu'? We've got in the Ihram of Umrah. We are coming out of the Ihram of Umrah, and now we are completely free. What do I mean? There are 0 restrictions upon us now. The only time the restriction will start is on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, and that is only when we are going towards Mina. Until then, we are all free. It is your decision. If a person in this state was doing qiran, which is they want to only do one ihram, they will stay in that ihram from the moment they perform Umrah until after Hajj, then right now all the prohibitions are still there. They are not lifted until after they have performed Hajj. What you should be doing, and while you are around, do not go and try to overburden yourself, because Hajj is still yet to come and you can become extremely tired with all of this walking and all of this stuff that we are generally not accustomed to doing. Now, I'm going to briefly explain the 5 days of Hajj. So if you want to take notes quickly just on how I am going to split it up, that way everyone is clear on what takes place on what day. It's going to go into detail as well, but I just want to make sure everyone is clear on this. So the 5 days of the Hajj are the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, what takes place? On the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, assuming we are all not in the state of Ihram, we are going to get back in our hotel. We are going to put on the Ihram, the 2 cloths, make Niyyah, and now we are going to head towards Mina. When we get to Mina, remember, Mina is the central point. From this point onwards until Hajj is over, until the 12th, Mina is what you can say is our home, is our point of return. Wherever we go, we are going to come back to Mina at the end of it all. All right? So we are going to go to Mina. It's preferred we go after sunrise. Some people are going to go later in the day. It doesn't matter. Whenever the group decides and they're going, that is when they can go. Some people's group might say go the night before on the 7th. It's completely okay. For logistical reasons, nothing wrong with it. All right? But the Hajj will actually start on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, and that is when they will go to Mina. They will spend the night there, relax. After that, the next day, on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, is the day of Arafah. The day of Arafah, because that is when we go towards Arafah. Arafah, al-Hajj Arafah. The Prophet ﷺ says, Hajj is Arafah, which means Arafah, if you've missed Arafah, your Hajj is invalid. We've paid a lot to go for Hajj, so don't miss this. Inshallah, you will not. We are going to, so on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, we are going to pray Salat al-Fajr. After Salat al-Fajr, we will go after sunrise to Arafah. We will stay there just about the whole day. What you should be doing is making dua. Some people want to go to the mountain there. I don't advise people to do so because of the distance, the heat, and our bodies not being accustomed to it. If you still choose to go do so, that is completely on you, but I would advise against it. We are going to stay the whole day there, making dua for the ummah, for everyone who was there and everyone who was not able to go there. After that, towards the evening, after Maghrib time, we are now going to go to Muzdalifah. Muzdalifah is an open sky tent really, right? It's open sky. There's really no tent. The sky is your tent. The Prophet ﷺ, after he would go from Arafah, he went to Muzdalifah, and the only point of Muzdalifah is go there, rest, sleep, and that's it. There's nothing else that's being done at Muzdalifah. When we get to Muzdalifah, we are going to pray our Maghrib and Isha at the time of Isha. This is a must at the time of Hajj. So when I said that it's after Maghrib time on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, we are going to go to Muzdalifah. I didn't say we are going to pray. Why? Because we are going to pray in the time of Isha at Muzdalifah. After that, in the morning, the next morning, which is going to be the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, which is going to be the day for Eid for the people that are not in Hajj. So excluding all of you, we are now going to be in the state of where it's the day of Eid and the day of Nahar for the people in Hajj. What's being done here? After we perform Salat al-Fajr, we will collect pebbles from Muzdalifah. After we collect the pebbles, because now how many are we going to collect? 49. Try to collect a little more, but you'll have water bottles. You can collect the pebbles in there and keep it with you for pelting the stones. On the 10th now, we are going to go back home. Can anyone tell us where is home right now? Where is home? Mina, correct. We are going to go to Mina, all right? We're going to go to Mina. After we go to Mina, now we are going to go to pelt the stones. What day are we on? The 10th of Dhul Hijjah. This day, the first time we get back home, we are only going to pelt one stone, the main one. We are not going to pelt all 3 stones. There are 3 stones that we are supposed to pelt, but on the first day, we are only pelting one stone. After that, sacrifice of an animal will take place, as well as making tawaf. All right, so tawaf will be done, sacrificing of an animal will be done. All right, that will be the day for the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. After that, we can shave our heads, trim our hair, whatever it may be. This is the time where you can potentially go back to your hotel, shower up, and then head back to Mina, because Mina is our home, right? But if you want to wear normal clothing at this point in time, this is when you would do so. So remember, the 8th, 9th, and 10th is when we will be in the state of Ihram. After the 10th, after we have taken a bath, everything becomes halal except for marital relations. That is the only thing that is still not halal. Besides that, deodorant, shampoo, toothpaste, mint, whatever it may be, it is completely okay. On the next 2 days, the only thing that is going to be required is for us to go and pelt the 3 stones, and that is about it. Again, if I went too fast, don't worry, we're going to cover it right now. What are you going to take to Mina? A Quran, Musalla, Tasbih, anything that will keep you comfortable throughout your stay. there. Soap, shower gel, tissue, and towel. Soap, even if it's scented, it's not until and unless after we are out of the state of ihram that we can actually use it. Now, day 1, which is the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, all right? It is sunnah to depart for Mina after sunrise. However, a lot of tour operators decide to leave the night before to avoid rush. Nothing wrong with that. Wear ihram in the hotel room. It is necessary to go to Masjid al-Haram. However, it is preferable to make niyyah of the ihram of Hajj in Masjid al-Haram. You will not go to miqat. Make intention for Hajj and followed by talbiyah, just like how we did before as well. Now, perform 5 salahs: Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha of 8th of Dhul Hijjah and Fajr of the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. If one is a Shur'i travel, he will perform Qasr in Mecca, in Mina and Mecca. We are all going to be travelers. It is sunnah to spend the night in Mina. So we are going to, on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, we are staying the night there. This is what Mina looks like. Literally only used 5 days of the year. This is how it's going to be. It's just tents, nothing else. This is the inside view of the tents. Anyhow, after the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, we are on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. We are going to perform Salatul Fajr, and thereafter we are going to go to Arafah. This is the most important day of Hajj. After sunrise, we will leave, and to leave before it is against the Sunnah, and generally no one leaves before sunrise anyways. This is the plain of Arafah. Again, this is, you thought 5 days was bad. This is only used 1 day of the whole year. But believe it or not, throughout the whole year, they're always making progress to try to make sure that they can upkeep the whatever they have done. And this is generally how the plain of Arafah is. This is the mountain that I was referring to on the top right corner. Again, chances are the camp or the tent will be very far, and it may not be worth it for you to try to make your way there. Wuquf Arafah, this is fard. When is the time to do so? This is from Zawal to Subh Sadiq. That is the time where you can make this wuquf. The wajib time that you have to be there from is from Zawal, meaning from the time Dhuhr time begins until Maghrib. You must be there the entire time.
Mufti, just a couple of questions because relevant to the slides that we just, yeah. So one, just what people are asking to confirm that when they are putting on Ihram of Hajj, they don't need to go to Masjid Aisha. You just do it from.
Correct. Thank you for that. They do not need to go to Masjid Aisha. They can do it from right on the spot.
And if you can also cover how Zohar and Asr would be prayed during, somebody people asking on Arafah.
Dhuhr can be prayed. Dhuhr and Asr will be prayed on their time. Whenever the group leaders, inshallah, they can organize that. But they will be prayed on their time. Dhuhr in Dhuhr time, Asr in Asr time. How many rak'ats? Because everyone will be a traveler, 2 rak'ats for each. When I'm presenting, I'm looking at the slides. So if there are any questions, just say it because I'm not reading them.
Yes. Yeah, inshallah, we'll do question at the end also. But
Yeah. Just anything you feel that is. Yeah. This is Masjid Namira. This masjid, as I said, is used literally only 1 day of the year. Again, I don't know if it's going to be feasible for a lot of the people going there, but however you want to do it is up to you. Perform wudu, it is preferable if possible, and read Dhuhr Salah at the beginning time. Wuquf has now started. What does wuquf mean? Meaning we are stationed at Arafah now. Engage in tilawah, dhikr, durood, istighfar, talbiyah, whatever it is, connecting yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what needs to be done. Dhuhr and Asr is to be performed. All right. After that, as I said, Maghrib will not be performed. Why? Because Maghrib is going to be performed in Muzdalifah in our next stop with Isha back to back in the time of Isha. Now, after we have done everything from Arafah, we are now after sunset. We are going to head towards Muzdalifah. When we head to Muzdalifah, we are going to go to Muzdalifah. Then we will go ahead and perform Maghrib as well as Isha in the time of Isha. And thereafter, we are just going to rest until the next day. Again, once in Muzdalifah, combine Maghrib and Isha in Isha time as follows: Adhan, Iqama, Fard of Maghrib. You will not make Adhan again. Fard of Isha, then Sunnah of Maghrib and Sunnah of Isha, then Witr. You will combine regardless of whether you are a Munfarid or Muqtadi, meaning whether you are praying alone or you're praying together. It does not matter. Note at the end, there are no tents in Muzdalifah. It's just an open sky. There are bathrooms available for those that want to use or freshen up. And these are times where, again, at all times you would have the ability to just go into the bathroom. And the way they're made is that you can literally shower if you need to at any time. After the next day, the next morning, we are going to now collect the pebbles. As I mentioned, 49 pebbles. 7 for the first day, then 21 and 21 for the day after, so 42 total for the 2 days, and then the first day 7 more, so that's 49. Look at the size of the chickpeas. The size of a chickpeas is the size of the rock. You don't need to grab boulders to try to go and attack the stones, because that's not how it works. This is Muzdalifah. When I said open skies, I was serious. It is open skies. There's no tents whatsoever. Again, when we're staying in Muzdalifah, there's really not much that is going on. Everyone is resting and everyone is doing what they are doing. And we remain in Muzdalifah, perform Salat al-Fajr. After Salat al-Fajr is when we are now going back home, which is Mina at this point in time. Once we get home, meaning Mina, it is the busiest day. There are 4 things that we have to do on this day. Number 1, we are going to pelt only the big jamara, the big shaitan, you can say. Number 2, the sacrifice of the animal. You are not going to be sacrificing the animal. It's going to be get done by the group leader or whoever's in charge, right? They just need to tell you that it's done. Okay, so you're not going to be doing that. Number 3, we are going to shave or trim our hair. Last but not least, we are going to make Tawaf Ziyarah. This Tawaf is Fard. There are 2 Fard components of Hajj. This is one of them. The other one was Arafah. Now, the time to perform Nahar.
If you can explain about Tawaf Ziyarah, does it have to be done on 10th, or can be?
So the time for 2 to 4 right here. The time for doing Nahar, the sacrifice, the halaq, the cutting the hair, and Tawaf Ziyarah. It can be from anywhere from the 10th, which is from now, until the 12th of Dhul Hijjah. So you have the 10th, 11th, and 12th. 3 days to perform it. You'll get it done within those times, right? It doesn't need to be done the first day. You're going to be in the area anyway, so it's best to do it then. But if you want to do it later, you can do it later as well. Why do I say you're going to be in the area? Because you're going to get your hair shaved or cut, and your hotel will be right there. A lot of people take this opportunity to go to their hotel, shower up, change into their normal clothes, and then go back to Mina. So it's completely up to you. If it's within your capabilities, do it. Otherwise, do it later. It's no harm. You don't have to do it right away.
If you can also talk about the sequence of Jazakallah.
It's coming. Yes. Remember the acronym PAST to remember the things you need to be done on this day to pass your Hajj. Number 1 is pelting. Number 2 is animal sacrifice. Number 3 is shaving of the hair. These 3 things must be done in order, meaning you must first pelt the jamarat, which you will do when you get to Mina. Then you must sacrifice animal. Again, you're not going to do it. Your group leader is going to do it. So hold off on cutting your hair until and unless your group leader has told you your animal has been sacrificed. Once you've been given the green light, go and shave your head. After that, you can go ahead and perform Tawaf Ziyarah. Rami. Once in Mina now, our duty for today is to pelt the big jamara only with the 7 pebbles. This is, again, we're still on the 10th day. They're just explaining it. Rami is the act of throwing. What are we throwing? We are throwing the stones. So that's all they're explaining. That the timing of pelting the jamaratul uqba, that's just a fancy name for the first, big main shayateen, is from the morning until sunrise. where it is makruh to do it, it's actually from sunrise to zawal. That's when more than everyone will be doing it, right? Actually, everyone will be doing it. You won't be able to do it until sunrise, anyways, because you're not going to get back to Mina until unless it's after sunrise. So rest assured, it's not even possible for you to do it in the wrong time. The time that it is allowed is from zawal to sunset, which is when dhuhr time begins until the end. And the time it is makruh is from sunset to the next day. Pretty much when it's sunset, it's the next day, so it's makruh to do it. More than likely, everyone is going to be either doing it in sunnah time or mubah time, which is completely okay. There's nothing wrong with it. This
Somebody is
is
asking for clarification on what is zawal.
zawal is the time. What I'm simplifying it and saying when dhuhr time begins, right? So when I say zawal, I'm referring to the time when dhuhr time begins. This is a picture of the Jamara. This is the big one, and then there are two more that are after it. Notice you're just going to, the point is not to full force throw the stones at the wall. It's actually just to throw it in a manner that it reaches the stone, and that's it. Even if it does not reach at the bottom where the stones are collected, it does reach, so you really didn't ever miss a shot, so to say. This is just a main area camp. Again, I don't think that's necessary right now. Method of Rami. This is just how you should be throwing the Rami. It's a pretty simple. If you've thrown anything in your life, throwing a pebble at the Jamara is not going to be any difficult. Pebbles should land in the boundary wall. If the stones bounce back or does not enter the boundary wall, the wall that is around it, then you will have to repeat it. Again, it's very difficult to miss. After pelting this jamara, depart from the area without dua. Thereafter, as I said, the first thing that needs to be done is the pelting. Second needs to be done is now the animal sacrifice. Once the animal sacrifice has been done, then is the time for qurbani, for halaq and qasab. So that is something that you're going to ask the individual, the group leader. After that has been done, you will go ahead and shave or cut your head. Again, look at the last point. Everything now halal except relationship with wife only becomes after Tawaf Ziyarah. Remember the four things we said that you should do on this day? Well, only until you do Tawaf Ziyarah, everything becomes okay. We are going to return to Mecca to perform Tawaf Ziyarah and Sa'i. Again, Sa'i is important after this. This is Fard. Time is 10th of Subh Sadiq, meaning the 10th day, the day of when we get back from Muzdalifah until the sunset of the 12th. If Sa'i was not done before, then Ramal will be done. If Halaq was done, then Ittiba' will not be made, otherwise it will. And if Sa'i was done before, then only Tawaf will be performed without Ramal. Again, this is just a little more technical aspect, but we should be on the same page up until now. Now we are on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah. Now is
Mufti Ahmed,
yes.
before you move forward, if you go back to the previous slide, the Tawaful Ifada, can it be performed in the state of Ihram or does it have to be after? And is there a preference?
Tawaf al-Ifada is also no, it should, if a person has already is waiting on the aspect of the animal sacrifice, then a person should just perform it right away. It
Okay.
doesn't need to be
Is there a
performed.
preference for it or is that
I don't recall. I'll have to look into that.
okay? All right. Thank you.
Mhm. Just remind me, brother, for you to look at that. Jazakallah. Now that after the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, it's a pretty relaxed environment in terms of what is going to happen. Only one thing required on this day, which is the Rami of all three Jamarat. Again, they're all in walking distance of each other, so once you do one, the remaining will be easy. The Sunnah time is any time from Zawal, which is from the time of Dhuhr until Maghrib, right? Plenty of time for anyone and everyone to do it. If a person still doesn't get a chance to do it, then they can do it from really until the next day, Fajr. After we have done this, we are going to return to Mina. Again, 12th day, we're doing nothing more. We're doing the exact same thing, going back to the Jamarat and performing the pelting. And try to leave. Masala, read this real quick. Try to leave the border of Mina before Maghrib Adhan. To leave, this is on the 12th day, right? To leave after Maghrib is makruh. However, if one does not leave by Subh Sadiq, meaning they stayed so long that it's now into the next day, Fajr time has already begun, now they have to stay, and they also have to pelt the Jamarat again, and then they can leave on the 13th. So more than likely, everyone will be, a majority of the people will be out, so that is not going to be a problem. Now, the only thing that is left is Tawaf al-Wida'. Wida' means to farewell, and this is considered the farewell Tawaf because this is going to be the final Tawaf we make before we head home. It's You can make, after you've done all the steps of Hajj up until this point, if you've done anything more than one Tawaf, meaning anything more than 7 circuits, it is automatically going to be considered your Tawaf Wida'. Your Tawaf Wida' is pretty much any Tawaf you make. The last Tawaf you make, let me correct that, it's any last Tawaf you make after the days of Hajj. That is automatically going to be considered your Tawaf al-Wida'. So after the 12th of Al-Hajjah, I left Mina, I'm back to Mecca. Mecca is now again my destination, my point of return. Anytime, let's say I make 3 tawafs from this point onwards until the next 3 days, whatever last tawaf I make will automatically be considered my tawaf al-wida', and that will be the final tawaf. And that is it.
Mufti Ahmed, before we get into questions, I want to ask you a question, a very specific question. After you have performed the Umrah initially, you don't need to go back to Kaaba as per the Hajj ritual for the sake of the Hajj until Tawaf al-Ifada, Tawaf al-Ziyarah. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. I want to emphasize this to all the listeners, especially the ones who are going to be staying Azizia. As much as we do want to go to a haram for prayers, etc., one of the points that Mufti Ahmed specified, do not over stress yourself to the point that your arkan, your requirements of the Hajj might get compromised. Okay. So after you have performed the initial Umrah, as Mufti Ahmed clarified, you do not have to go to Haram until Tawaful Ifada, which is also called Tawaful Ziyarah. Okay?
And again, of course, this is a spiritual journey and we all want to take advantage of it, but taking advantage of it is also being smart with our health and making sure that we are using it the way we can. Don't overburden yourself. And for most people, after you go back to Mecca and we take all of our stuff from Mina to Mecca, the moment you sleep, you probably won't wake up 10, 12 hours later. And that's just because of how tired you will more than likely be. It's a very draining journey, but it is, of course, worth it for all the reward that we are going to get, inshallah. I'll get into the questions now, inshallah.
Yep. There is a
Okay.
question on the Qurbani. I just want to answer to that one. Uh, if you are going with us in our group, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to arrange for the Qurbani and we'll let you know how to pay for it. For all the others, we will share a few links, online links, etc., where you can place the order for the Qurbani, inshallah. Okay?
Inshallah,
So,
Right.
I'll go. Go ahead. So,
oh no, go ahead.
you want me to start the questions or?
Go for it. Yeah, yeah. There are
Okay.
certain questions that are particular to women. Those will be answered by the muallimas. Besides that, I did look over majority of them before, and I tried to answer them through the presentation. But if you want to ask them formally and me give them an answer, that's fine as well.
Okay. So, inshallah, first we will go through all the questions that have been asked on the forum. So, one question that the first one again is there a recommended type of Hajj that you do as a group? I think you covered
Again,
that, but yeah.
yeah, whatever is more convenient for the individual, whether they do tamattu or qiran. Qiran is more virtuous, but again, if it's too difficult, again, the journey is long, so doing tamattu is not a problem.
Another question is that so for somebody's first time doing Hajj, so they're worried that they might not remember all the steps. So what, and their memory is not that great, so they're anxious about making a mistake and doing something wrong.
So generally, it's always recommended after we perform Umrah or our Hajj, we do give some sadaqah anyways. Their chances are we are going to forget something. This is very common that when we get to our hotel, we use the bathroom after using the washroom. When we're washing our hands, guess what? Sometimes we don't realize, but the soap and everything that's inside the hotel is scented, and we accidentally do that, use that. So we should always, of course, try to make the sadaqah thereafter so that it will expiate any wrongs that we've done. And of course, as long as we're prepared, we should be good, inshallah. It is a little anxious, but that's just the journey.
Somebody's question is that they have already performed Hajj. Can they do intention to do it for their father? And can they make multiple names in intention?
Generally, if you're doing it Hajj Badal, it would be only for one person. But if they wanted to do it as a general intention in the sense of the reward for the Hajj, it can be done to multiple people.
So now there's some questions about Ihram. I think most of them you've answered already, but just to formally address them, mint during Ihram.
Mint during Ihram would not be allowed because it is scented.
Can you wear a mask because of concerns with COVID or other viruses? That's one question. There are multiple questions, but yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Yeah, covering the face is not allowed during the state of ihram. If a person still chooses to do so because of whatever condition, they can, but they will have to give sadaqah after that.
Somebody wants to give sadaqah to the poor in Makkah, Medina. So can they take money from relatives and then go distribute it to the poor there?
Absolutely cannot be done. Not only that, they should, in Medina, generally it was a practice of the elders, senior scholars, that whenever before they would go make salam to the Prophet ﷺ, they would actually give sadaqah. So that is a practice that can be applied in Medina, and of course in giving it to Mecca as well. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I think that you have addressed this, but yeah, if somebody takes a bath and changes their clothes, does it break ihram?
Yes, it will not break ihram. Nothing really breaks ihram, by the way. Someone asked this in the future question: does ihram ever break? Ihram never breaks. It's just your penalties just keep piling up. So ihram actually never breaks, and this won't break it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Neither will there be a penalty. Again, when we're in the state of ihram, don't use any perfume. Besides that, it will be fine.
So instead of miswak sticks, can I use miswak toothpaste?
If it's unscented, and you can use miswaks too. There's nothing wrong with the miswak as long as it's unscented.
Uh, Other than ihram, if somebody is doing tawaf, can they wear footwear outside of ihram?
Outside
Like
of
normal.
ihram, they can wear whatever they want.
So you probably just have a separate shoe that you
Correct.
play in for inside, and then yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I think those were about yeah. There are a couple of more. Somebody is landing in Jeddah, but they're going to go Medina first.
They don't need to put ihram on. They will put ihram on when they are leaving Medina to Mecca.
And then when somebody went to Medina, now can they pray the 2 rakah at the hotel before taking the train because you can't pray on the train?
Correct. They can do that.
And somebody had I think a custom flight that's going to Riyadh. So can they do Ihram when they go to Riyadh? Basically?
Yeah, they will do it when they are. They can either put it on in Riyadh, and then while they're on the plane, they make intention at that time.
Few questions about halak. So they are asking, can we, when after the Umrah, can we trim the hair down a few centimeters and then do the full shave after Hajj?
Correct.
Will that
Yes,
be
they
full
can do
reward?
that, and inshallah, they will be rewarded for that.
Is there a preferred thing?
I mean, generally speaking, halaq is always more virtuous, right? So even if a person does halaq, which is shaving the head for umrah, and then at the time of hajj after that, they have few to very little hair and they still do halaq, it will still be more virtuous. So if a person decides to do both, there's nothing wrong, and that actually might be more virtuous.
For women, when they cut the hair, does it need to be different parts the of the head, or does it only need to be from one part of the head?
No, one part would be fine.
And can you trim? Can you do your
Sorry,
own?
the for the women, they will section the hair in three parts, and then they will cut from each part.
And for somebody who wants to trim themselves with an electric trimmer, is that okay to do?
Yeah, so a man cannot trim his own hair, a woman can.
And somebody who is in ihram, can they trim hair of another person who's and
Can they trim? They cannot trim their own hair. They can trim someone else's hair.
someone else is okay? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh, then there are a few questions, other questions about uh, tawaf. So is the tawaf and sa'i of Hajj different from the tawaf wida?
Yes, it is. They're two different tawafs.
And is tawaf wida one circuit around the Kaaba or seven circuit?
Tawaf, anytime we use the word tawaf, it's always by default seven circuits. There's no such thing as tawaf being more or less than seven.
On the 10th of Zulhijjah, once the shaving has been done, they can come out of ihram, and then the rest steps can be done basically in normal clothes. Just trying to confirm. Some people are trying to confirm that.
Uh,
Uh, then few questions about just tahara. Somebody saying that they have doubts about urine drops coming out during ihram. So how should they do that?
during ihram, I mean, they should first and foremost, if they have it, just if it's a general during ihram, then they should keep extra uh, garments anyways, just for the sake of one getting dirty, they can use the other one.
And somebody's asking about if they have kids back home, uh, do they need to still do qurbani for the kids back home as well as the normal the not
Mm.
Hajj qurbani but the regular
Yeah,
qurbani?
yeah, they would still need to have to do that for them.
And then related question, somebody's asking, since the women can do it, can the women trim the hair of the mahram or the husband?
Yes, they can.
Somebody suggesting that they purchase a package using a credit card where they're paying amount with zero APR in the next 12 months. Is it acceptable to make the payments after Hajj?
It is acceptable, and it is a form. I mean, is it everyone's capacity and capabilities are different. If someone is in that situation where they know for sure they'll be able to pay it off, then inshallah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Let's see. There are some logistics questions. I'll group them together so Farid Bhai can
We'll take
answer
that
them.
later.
Yeah.
Wasim, Mufti Ahmad, there is a question about using the pain ointment for muscle cramp, even though it has a strong odor. Um,
In if as because it has a strong odor like Bengay and things like these products, they
right.
would need to be sadaqah that would need to be given after.
So I'm sorry, you said sadaqah needs to be given, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Somebody is asking you a question. What is the amount of the sadaqah? Is there
The
anything
sadaqah
specific?
amount can, yeah, it can, like $10 is a very safe amount that can be given. The equivalent of that in Saudi riyals.
Okay. Farid Bhai, do you want to do the logistics questions now,
Yeah,
or
yeah, I can. Tawaful Wida, does it include Sa'i? There is a question, Mufti Ahmed.
Tawaful wida from, I don't think tawaful wida includes sari. It's just normal tawaf without sari.
Just Tawaf. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A few questions on the logistics. Let me quickly answer that.
Brother
Uh,
Farid, am I good on my end?
Let me just, Wasim, have you covered everything from the file?
yeah, I think we covered everything from the file. There are some questions are coming still on the chat, so I'll just review that. Mufti Sahib, if you can wait for a little bit.
There is a question about our medications allowed during Ihram. I mean,
Yes, medications are
yeah,
allowed. Again,
yeah,
if we're applying medication, then of course, if it's scented, then that whole thing comes up. But medications are generally allowed.
right. Okay, Mufti Ahmad, Jazakallah khair. And, this is an excellent presentation. Lots of compliments coming. And for all the members on the call and the Hujjah that are going, unfortunately, we are not including these young muftis in our trip this time. We tried, but inshallah, they are going to be part of our next year. Inshallah, I've already taken the commitment from them. Inshallah, these are the young muftis. Inshallah, that are our future, and inshallah, you saw what a beautiful way of presenting the information. So, Mufti Ahmed, Jazakallah khair. Really appreciate. By the way, Mufti Ahmed and Mufti Muhammad and the three Muallimas, I am going to go ahead and speak it on their behalf. They are going to be available during the Hajj online for any questions. Last year they were available, and inshallah they will be available this year also
And
online
just to
in
add,
the
Brother
chat.
Fareed, if anyone ever asks a question, please just tag me because there's a lot of different conversations that go on the
Of
group.
course,
So just
of
tag
course.
my brother or I, and that way we know that we need to respond to this, inshallah. So please just do that, inshallah. We will definitely help. And the only thing I ask in return is dua for me, inshallah, on Arafah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Yes, during the Hajj they will be available. Okay, I see a question coming up on that. Inshallah, Jazakallah khair, Mufti Ahmed. You are welcome to drop if you want. Okay. All right. A few questions that I see coming up on the one question is about the guide. The guides will be there. They will provide all the guidance. They will provide all the necessary guidance as well as arrangement. Will they be with each member during all the steps? That is not practical actually. Okay, they will be with the largest group. They will try to be with you as much as possible, but please bear in mind there might be different uh, within the group. There might be different groups that might be going to Rami. Some might stay back. So the guide is needs to be there to make sure that everybody is well taken care of. But in general, the guide is there with you pretty much throughout the entire journey from your hotel back to uh, your trip back, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. I saw some
Just
questions
one
about
point
fasting.
quickly, Farid, on this, just to share experience. What happens practically is people want to go at different times, right? Like, say, for example, somebody wants to go for Jamarat after Asr, or somebody wants to go after Zohar. So invariably, uh, people will go where to do different actions when they are comfortable. That's why it's important that each one of us who are trying to go learns all the processes and then keeps either a book or keep it in the phone so that you are aware. To learn yourself is very important to know. There will be guidance and there will be questions you can ask, but again, you want to be ready for scenarios where you will be by yourself for certain things.
Okay, I see lots of questions coming up about the sisters group. If any sister is not in the sisters group, please message me directly. Message me on the WhatsApp, not in the chat here, please, because in the chat I might miss out some of the names. So message me on the WhatsApp. I will put you in touch with Sister Samina and Sister Sakina who are coordinating the Hajas group, and inshallah ta'ala they will include you. Okay. So message me directly. When is the similar session for sisters? We are working with the panel of sisters and inshallah with the panel of Maulima, and Sister Samina will message you in the sisters group when they will be able to have a similar session, inshallah. Okay. There was a question about will the guide be there from the US airport? I think we have answered this question. The guides will be present at the hotel to welcome you, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Rawaf, Mina, and most of the other service providers also will be picking you up from the airport and transferring you to the hotels, and that's where the guide generally will start taking uh, will start becoming responsible for you, inshallah. Okay.
Uh,
I
there are a few questions here. Some people are asking about, the logistics, like they're asking about like tickets they have not received yet, things like that. Yeah. And then also Ziyara, they're asking like how to arrange for Ziyara.
I'm sorry. What's the question, Wasim?
The first question was like one question is a lot of questions about tickets that they haven't received tickets yet, and second one is about Ziyara. How will the Ziyara tours be arranged in Makkah and Medina?
Okay, okay, all right. So on the tickets question, the service providers generally will get you the tickets before the 20th of May. Inshallah, earlier than the 20th of May, but but their commitment is before the 20th of May is when the tickets will come. Okay. Now, as far as the Ziyara is concerned, if Ziyara is not included in your package, please work with your guide. Now, from our Hajj group, the Hajj group that is coming with us, we will inshallah ta'ala arrange the ziyarah in Medina, and we will work on also ziyarah in Mecca. But inshallah ta'ala, definitely we'll arrange a ziyarah in Medina. We will share all this logistical information when we have a webinar for our group later, inshallah.
The,
So go ahead, Wasim. There were questions about the recording and the PDF. Inshallah, we will release the recording before the end of the day, inshallah, and we will also share the slides in a PDF form to everybody that is in our Telegram group as well as in the WhatsApp group. We will share this information to everybody.
some questions about meningitis vaccine, when to take it, and then there are apparently two options sometimes, ACWY and
Right.
MCV40.
Yeah. Please take the meningitis vaccination now. Do not wait until the end. The requirement is you have to have the vaccination at least 10 days before the travel. You cannot, if they see the date which is within the 10 days, the airport, the airline might turn you around. So please be careful about that. Okay. So take the meningitis shot as soon as possible. Now, there are different variations of the meningitis shot, ACYW, and there are different ones. As long as it is a meningococcal vaccination, meningitis vaccination, there are many different variations of that one. So as long as your certificate that you get indicates MENVO or MCV4, as long as it indicates a meningitis, it is acceptable. They will accept that one. So it does not have to be that specific, the same type that is mentioned in the nusuk. It needs to be a shot that a medical professional will accept as a meningitis. Okay. So the sisters who are messaging me, I will inshallah ta'ala forward you to the our guide sisters, the sisters who are joining us as guides. They will inshallah ta'ala include you in the sisters Haja group, inshallah. Okay. Wasim, are there any other questions that I might have missed?
Checking it one more time.
The invitation to the hotels it's going out. Please just bear with us. Before the end of the day we'll have it. So and the invitation from the nusuk, the Rawaf Mina will be sending out invitation to accept the guides through the nusuk. Okay. And the people who are signed up with us, you will receive an invitation to one of the 6 people that I mentioned earlier. Okay. Let me quickly share that back again. So these are the 6 people that you'll get the invitation. If any one of the 6 invitation comes to accept from the 6 people through the nusuk, please go ahead and accept it. Okay. We will, inshallah ta'ala, later on rearrange our guides because we will have more than these guides. We have almost like 9 to 10 guides that will be assigned to us. we will rearrange it. But for right now, Rawaf is going to send out the invitation for this with the 6 people, with the 6 names here. So if you receive an invitation from any of the 6 people, please accept it. This is going to come through Nusuk. As of now, they have still not sent this out. All the service providers are waiting for Nusuk to enable the guide invitation functionality. So as soon as it's available, they will Rawaf Mina will send it out also, inshallah. Anything else?
Yeah,
Anything else?
yeah. People, a lot of questions about the sisters want to be getting added to the group. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So message me directly. I'm already receiving several messages. Inshallah Ta'ala, I will forward all your requests to the sister coordinators who are coordinating, and they will include you, inshallah. Okay. In case if somebody is not aware of my number, uh, actually, let me give you the number of the sister, the guide who is going to be with part of the Rawaf Mina group. Just go ahead and message her. So I've shared a number. Just message her directly and she will include you, inshallah ta'ala. And also, some of the Hujjaj might receive email from Rawaf Mina, B2C at rawafmina.sa about uh, about accepting us or confirming that we are your guides. So in those cases, there will be a Google form that you have to complete, and the question that is going to be asked is to mention the name of the guide. So you would mention the name of the guide, which is basically you would mention Farid Ahmed as the guide, and the travel agency you would just put NA for not applicable. So this email will only go to those people who might have been included by other groups also, whether it's by mistake or by miscommunication. So in that case, please respond back to those emails as quickly as possible and indicating my name in this on the second page once you go through the email page at the beginning. Now, this is going to be for each member in the account, so you might receive multiple emails, inshallah. Okay, this is for Rawaf Mina group. Okay. Anything else, Wasim? Do I miss on the logistics? So
No, I think
we
most
are
of you
we
answered.
are going to continue having some logistic calls, webinars on logistics. There might be some that is open to everyone. There might be some that are specific to Rawaf Mina group that are going with us. So inshallah ta'ala, in the next few weeks, we will continue with these webinars, inshallah. Our goal is to prepare you for the Hajj in the best way possible that we understand. Now, I will repeat again. I have said this before and I'm going to continuously keep repeating. You are there in an environment which is different from what you're used to. So please be prepared. Please be patient. In spite of all the good intentions, good arrangement that Rawaf Mina, the other service providers, we as your guides might have made, things do tend to go wrong. The buses might not come on time. There might be challenges with the food. There might be challenges with the room assignments. Please be patient. Just remember whose guest you are. You are there to perform Hajj. You do not, and Wallahi, I'm telling you, you do not want to lose the opportunity to perform your Hajj in the best possible way by losing patience. One of the worst things I have seen during the Hajj time is people losing patience and doing things that might compromise the hard earned Hajj that they have been granted. So please start thinking about every which way how you can learn, how you can try to be patient. Start doing that now. Start thinking about difficulties. Start thinking about people pushing you. Start thinking about uh, food not being good. Start thinking about having to wait for buses, having to wait for room assignment, the heat, the shuttles not working. All kinds of challenges are there. but start thinking about how you can be patient in every aspect. At the end of the day, your goal should be to get the Hajj done in the best possible way to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Wasim, let's go ahead and close the call, and we will continue taking the questions, inshallah ta'ala, through our other channels, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for everyone to join. If we have been able to relay and do anything good, it's only from the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any error that we have, in any mistakes we have made, please forgive us, and we seek Allah's forgiveness also. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Continuously keep saying labbaik labbaik Allahumma labbaik labbaik la sharika laka labbaik innal hamda wal ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. Wassalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh.